Today's episode of Bitchin' Kitchen is all about achieving happiness. First up, crunchy, spicy Cajun onion rings. Then we're making a rich and creamy linguini Alfredo that'll even make an emo twit crack a smile. For dessert, chocolate chip cookies with maple bacon! The spice agent reports on paprika.
Yes, I will, Signora. For sure.
Panos yaps about cream.
Cream.
Hans explains how when it comes to food, we look for happiness in all the wrong places.
Happiness is these warm guns.
I'm Nadia G, and you're watching Bitchin' Kitchen. Happy, happy, joy, joy edition. Now, happiness is a very broad term, so let's break it down. There are two distinct kinds of happiness. The first kind is the day-to-day stuff, the little kicks we get from eating a good cookie or seeing that jerk from high school got really ugly on Facebook. The second kind of happiness is the long-term satisfaction stuff, that quiet inner peace you feel from having a loving family or seeing that jerk from high school got really ugly on Facebook. Now, I've done a ton of research on happiness for this episode and found proven ways of achieving it, from money to sleep to religion, careers, right down to where you live. After watching this, you'll not only know how to get your slice of the happiness pie, but you'll also learn how to make the best onion rings ever. What a show. Let's get cooking. Now, I love onion rings. They're unbelievably cheap, easy, and delicious, and this is my bitchin' spin on them. So, get your hands on 3 yellow onions and slice them about 1/8 of an inch thick. See, the thinness is key with these. It makes them a cross between onion rings and French fried onions. Delicious. Make sure you separate them. Now, onto our spice mix. In a bowl, add 1 tablespoon of cayenne powder. Now, this is gonna make it pretty spicy, so if you're sensitive to heat, use more. We're gonna add a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, pinch of sea salt, some pepper, and 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. While I mix this up, here's the spice agent with his paprika report.
Thank you, Nadia. Paprika is a spice made from ground bell pepper or chili pepper, and some people use both. Here, we call this witchcraft. Smoked paprika, also known as pimentón, is made in Spain from smoked ground pimento peppers, and it can be found in different intensities. For example, you have mild, known as dulce, and you have medium hot, known as agridulce, and then you have super duper hot, known as super duper picante, which give you endorphins from the heat pain, which make you happy. You know, many people think that Yechezkel, he's not a happy person. Why? Just because I don't smile? Or maybe it's because I don't know the true meaning of love. Or maybe it's because I'm angry all the time. Or maybe because for me, crying in public is not a big deal. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm not happy by your standards. But for me, happiness will come the day I get to the America border and the custom policeman looks at me and tells me, business or pleasure? I look him straight in the face and say, both, with a bit of forever. And when he tells me, where will you be staying? I will no longer tell him with my cousin in Encino. I will look him again straight in the face and tell him, I don't know. And as that glory stamp slowly approaches my passport, then, and only then, I will know the true meaning of happiness. And that's when this crazy journey called life will start. La vida loca. Hasta luego, carnal.
Thanks,
יחזקאל מזרחי.
When we get back, we're gonna finish up these onion rings, find out if money can really buy happiness, and stuff our face holes. Stay hungry. Welcome back to Bitchin' Kitchen's Happiness Special. Now, they say money can't buy happiness. I say they don't know where to shop. Because a new study from Princeton shows that money can in fact buy happiness for $75K a year. Apparently, this is the proven sweet spot for happiness. And I guess that kind of makes sense, because with that kind of dough, you got all your bases covered and a little extra to get those gold you always dreamed of, huh? The report shows that the further you fall from the 75K benchmark, the more unhappy you feel. But here's the interesting part. Those making more than 75K don't report being any happier. So I guess in a way, money doesn't really buy happiness perpetually, if you're already a wealthy bastard to begin with. We're gonna finish up our crispy bitchin' onion rings. Here I got a cup of all-purpose flour. We're gonna throw in 1 cup of cornmeal. This is gonna add an amazing texture. Mix it up. Now toss the onions in there, a few at a time, so you have room to work. Make sure they're all nicely covered. And deep fry these suckers in 350-degree canola oil or any oil with a high smoke point for about 3 to 5 minutes until golden and crispy. What you want to do is shake these off a bit before you throw them in the oil. Drain these on a paper towel. And now sprinkle them with our awesome Cajun spice mixture. See, I like adding the spice at the end of the frying process. This way it doesn't get lost in the flour mixture. Doing it this way, you really control the flavor. Control makes me happy. Let's plate this dish. Pile the onions high and attack it with our face. So amazing. You got the crispy exterior because of that cornmeal. You get some kick from the cayenne pepper and paprika. More. These onion rings have a lot going on, and I like it. I like it. Now those onion rings were amazing, but you know what's even better? Crazy good, creamy linguini Alfredo. Like crazy, give your grandma a wedgie good. Let us begin. Boil 1 pound of linguini in salted water until out... Oh, we all know what that means. It's time for facts you wish you didn't know. Happiness edition. Fact. Now, some careers make people happy, and other careers make people, well, suicidal. Now, comedians are 1.9 times more likely to off themselves than the population average. Authors ring in at 2.6 times, actors 2.8, and musicians self-destruct at a whopping 3.6 times more often than the boar next door. Oh, let's hope it's not cumulative, because I'll have trouble getting insurance. Fact! Now, most of us believe that happy people live longer, right? Nope. The Longevity Project tracked 1,500 people for 80 years to see which characteristics contribute to a long life. And guess what? It's the neurotic, ambitious, divorced women who stuck around. The about it. Fact! I wish I could snuggle right now. No, really. I love snuggling. Our linguini is cooking. We're gonna make an Alfredo sauce. Here I got 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. We're gonna throw in 1 minced garlic clove and saute this for about a minute on medium heat until it's golden and fragrant. Now deglaze with 1/2 cup of dry Chardonnay and let it cook for a couple of minutes until it's almost dry. Add 1.5 cups of 50/50. Gonna reduce the heat to medium-low and stir for about 5 minutes until it starts to steam. Don't let it boil. Oh, here's Panos with more on cream.
Thanks, Nads. Cream. Generally comes in 3 different fat percentages. 10%, usually used for coffee. 15%, which is used a lot in savory dishes and sauces. And 30% plus, which is commonly used for desserts. Now, there's nothing wrong with making a savory sauce with 30% cream. It's just really rich, especially if you add cheese. On the positive side, it's really rich, especially if you add cheese, bro. Now, back in Roman times, cream was also used for fancy baths. The fat content, buttering up your skin and giving you that beautiful, silky feeling. I sometimes compare my marriage to a cream bath. Oh man, it's The one where you get all wrinkly because you stayed in too long.
Thank you, Panos. When we get back, we're gonna yap about how sleep affects happiness and scoff Alfredo until we pass out from a carb-induced coma. Stay bitchin'. And we're back. So far, we learned that money can buy happiness, but not everyone's flush. So what do? Give up and hide in bed? Precisely. According to psychology professor Norbert Schwartz, getting 1 hour more of sleep every day has more of an effect on happiness than making an extra $60K a year. Now, sure, feeling rested is great, but sleep actually plays an even bigger role. See, you process the day's events while you sleep, and it's that clarity that helps perk you up. Man, I always learn when I sleep. I've often woken up and been like, whoa, that basket is not a good receptacle for projectile vomit. Or, wow, pretending I got kidnapped and asking the network for ransom is not a good April Fool's joke. Back to our Alfredo. Now our cream, garlic, and delicious butter mixture has been cooking for about 5 minutes. What we're gonna do is add 3/4 of a cup of finely grated Parmigiana Reggiana and stir until melted. Beautiful, look at that texture. So nice and creamy. We'll take it off the heat. Now what we're gonna do is throw in 1/4 cup of finely minced parsley, small pinch of sea salt, and pepper. Pasta is cooked and drained. What we're gonna do is mix it in with the sauce. The old tossity toaster. Let's plate this dish. We're gonna add just a little bit more grated Parmigiana and scuff. This Alfredo is so decadent. The cream, the butter, you taste the garlic and Parmigiana. And I love linguini because they're like chubby. Dessert makes everybody happy. Well, except diabetics there, they just get resentful. Me too, I would get resentful if I can never have a stinking cookie. Every day, people eating cookies and you get nothing. On that note, we're making bacon chocolate chip cookies. We're gonna start with our maple glazed bacon. Here I've got 12 bacon slices that have been minced. What we're gonna do is saute them for about 8-10 minutes on medium heat until very crispy. This bacon smells amazing. Now what we're gonna do is drain all the grease from the pan. Now add 1/4 cup of real maple syrup and reduce this for about 1-2 minutes until it's nice and thick and has coated the bacon. Good. You see how the bacon has absorbed all that maple syrup. We're just gonna pop it in a bowl and leave it alone for now. Cookie dough time. First, we're gonna cream some butter. In a mixer, add 1 cup of unsalted butter, a cup of granulated sugar, and 1/2 cup of raw sugar. Beat it on low for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's light and fluffy. Throw in 1 large egg, a teaspoon of natural vanilla extract. You want to mix this for 1 more minute. Done. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Believe it or not, I wouldn't consider myself a particularly happy person. Content, on the other hand, not even. You know why? Because I'm an ingrate. I never take the time to be thankful, but you know how it goes. You get busy and stuff melts into days. Those days melt into shoes. You scuff the bottoms and move on, huh? But apparently, the key to happiness is being grateful. Studies show that people who keep a gratitude journal are significantly happier than those who don't. So I started looking into this gratitude journal thing and discovered that even just reading somebody else's journal can make you happy while you laugh at the nerdy things they're grateful for. The best one I came across is Miss Leanne. She says, "I'm grateful I can forgive my husband, but not forget." Nice! When we get back, we're gonna finish up these cookies, and Hans will string a few words together without a shirt on, huh? Nice, nice. Blood, lice, locusts, and frogs. Nadia, Passover's intense.
What? We're doing happiness.
Welcome back to the happiness episode. Now, if I were to ask you which states you thought had the happiest population, you'd probably say, "Wow, you're really pushing it with the small talk, bro." A recent survey shows that the happiest people live in Louisiana. The most unhappy people, New York City. Kind of makes sense though, because so many people want to be in New York, it causes too much competition for resources. People get all stressed, clawing at each other for a piece of a balding banker. Let's face it, most would still rather be completely miserable in New York than all happy in Louisiana. It makes no sense. Let's finish these cookies. To our creamed butter, we're gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and mix it on low for about a minute until everything's incorporated. What we're gonna do now is add our maple glazed bacon, 1.5 cups of quality milk chocolate chunks. Get it going for a couple of seconds just so it evens out. Whoa! Now line a cookie sheet with parchment paper and scoop on heaping teaspoons of dough, about 2 inches apart. Now, I'm using an ice cream scooper to do this, but if you don't have an ice cream scooper, you can always give up on making these cookies. I mean, really, what are you gonna do? Take 2 teaspoons and it takes forever. Just give up at that point, right? Sprinkle these with a little bit of Malden salt, just a bit on top. You can also use fleur de sel. And bake these at 350 in the center of the oven until the edges are all nice and golden. Takes about 9-10 minutes. While these bake, here's Hans with more on happiness and food.
Miss G, when it comes to food, most people think you either indulge and be a happy fatty or starve and be a miserable Adonis. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's kind of true. How many times would I have killed a person with my bare hands for a burger or fries? Or a greasy Hawaiian pizza with extra pineapple? Oh man, some cookie dough ice cream or blueberry pie? I love pie!
Thanks, Hans. Our cookies are ready. I'm so excited. I mean, you can imagine, right? You got the smell of the maple bacon, melted chocolate, cookie dough. What you want to do is leave these alone for a minute and then transfer them onto a wire rack to cool completely. Serve these up with an ice-cold glass of organic milk and szko. What a texture. You got the crispy edges, it's nice and moist inside. You taste the earthy maple, super crispy bacon, and that melted milk chocolate. Try with the milk. A bit weird with the milk. I mean, because of the bacon, it's like a carbonara, but I'll eat it. Well, I'll eat it all right. Always do. Today we made 3 succulent dishes and learned a couple of tricks that'll make you happier. See, achieving happiness is pretty simple. Just make 75K, sleep lots, live in Louisiana, and keep a gratitude journal. But come on, that's just not possible. Because if everyone made 75K, that amount would mean nothing. Then you'd need even more money. But you couldn't make any because guess what? You're sleeping all the time. Louisiana would be overpopulated and you'd be just beating each other savagely for a scrap of paper to make a gratitude journal. So, Be careful what you wish for, man. Alla prossima.